So now that we're into the actual race, Danielle, if you could take us through guidelines for what we should be thinking about for hydration and fueling as we go through the distances. So if we could start off at 5K and then move upwards to the marathon and then have some considerations on what to do after the race, that would be brilliant.
So this is the exciting bits, the race day, or the race itself. So if you're doing the 5K fun run on the Saturday, it's not that important to fuel during your race. Making sure that you're well fueled before you start your race will be your important target for the day. So making sure you're hydrated and you've had that carb-rich breakfast will be important. Fueling during a 5K is not necessary. It's not long enough for your body to utilize the carbohydrates that you take on board. When it comes to a 10K, similar to the 5K, it's not quite long enough for your body to utilize those carbs that you take on board, but it could be beneficial to grab a fixed electrolyte drink on the way or whenever you can on the course to really replenish your electrolytes. And as mentioned before, just those receptors on your tongue with the carbohydrate coming on board, your body thinks that it's got some fuel coming. So just sipping on some fix on the course could be beneficial for the 10K. And then we get to the 21K, so a little bit longer. And your main fuel source for this event will be carbs, especially if you're trying to complete it under that 2-hour mark. So make sure your body has enough energy throughout the race, around 30 to 45 grams of carb per hour. If you've trained well with your carbohydrates and you can get up to 60 grams an hour, then that's also a good option. But 30 to 45 grams of carb each hour that you're out there on course is really important to make sure that you can get to the end feeling that you've still got a little bit of energy in the tank and you're not completely spent. This carb can be in the form of something like your gel or chews like Cliff Blocks as well. If you feel like you don't like the texture of a gel and you prefer something chewable, those ones are a good option. Plus, you want your fix as well, and that will help to replenish electrolytes, keep you hydrated, which the gels or chews can't really do. So, as mentioned, 1 scoop of the fix contains 24 grams of carbohydrate, and you could have, say, a gel at the 5K mark and then a drink of fix at the next 5K mark, and so on. 30 to 45 grams of carbs every hour for the 21K will be your main goal. If you use anything else other than your like blocks or your gels, make sure that you check the nutrition panel and that the fat, the protein and the fiber in the product is really low, so no more than a few grams. It is entirely up to you as to what gels or chews you use, but I'd definitely be using the fix in training so that you can use it on race day without any issues. 42-kilometer race, so your marathon, this is where your carbs need to bump up again, just like in training. So during longer races, it's always a lot higher your target for carbohydrate than those shorter ones. And then in any races over 2 hours, it's beneficial to have up to 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour if you've trained your gut really well. Don't try it for the first time on race day. You should definitely transition from your current fueling. So if you know that you're not having enough at the moment, transition really slowly up to that 60 grams per hour so that you can really target that on race day for the marathon. As mentioned, your gut's really trainable, so it will get used to it very quickly. It's just a matter of being consistent so that you can, on race day, aim for 60 grams an hour. Again, the target of 60 grams an hour can be achieved by alternating between those gels and fix. But yeah, it's all personal preference. Just make sure that you are reaching 60 grams. After the race, once you've run and won your race, it's time to start focusing on foods that can really assist you with your recovery. I know it's quite easy to get carried away with strolling around and having a chat, but this is a really important time to make sure you're getting some nutrients in to really promote your recovery. And if you've got some training the next day, it's even more important. So although you might put in all the hours into your training, most people will wake up with some degree of soreness or fatigue the next morning after race day. So And make sure you get the right nutrients in and at the right time to really reduce the effects of the race, so you can move a little more freely in the days after the race and you're not waddling around in pain or bedridden. So after the race, you might find that you're an hour later after your race and you still haven't had anything to eat, but this is the most crucial time where you need to be getting both carbohydrate and protein in within 30 minutes for glycogen restoration and muscle repair. It can be in the form of a simple and easy chalky milk from the servo. So that's my go-to. It's great for fluid replacement and it has that added benefit of the carbohydrate and protein in it. And that's really simple and easy. You don't have to pre-pack that just on the way home from your race or while you're at the race. Otherwise, you can pre-pack your own snacks for straight after the race, and whether that's your own protein shake with a carbohydrate source like a banana or like an up and go or something with that combination of protein and carbohydrate. If you're feeling up to a meal straight away, you can also do that. But yeah, it's a lot easier just to take a couple carb-rich and protein-rich snacks with you. When it comes to guidelines for your post-race refueling for carbohydrates, you should be trying to aim for 1 gram per kilogram of body weight soon after your race. So say a 60 kilogram person, try and get 60 grams of carbohydrates in and then continue that for the next 4 hours after your race. And this might be, say, a snack straight after your race, and then you might go and celebrate at the cafe or at a restaurant or something like that. So make sure you've got carbohydrates in that next meal too. When it comes to protein, your target should be around 20 to 25 grams to really help with repair of your muscle after all that damage you've just done in the race. So protein and carbohydrates soon after your event will really promote recovery.